Welcome back to the channel. Today I want to talk to you about a sort of hidden mechanic that I don't think a lot of people know about, which allows you to do more damage, 10% more damage to be accurate. So have you ever shot at an enemy and saw green numbers popping up? I can't even get it to work now. Of course I can't. There we go. Green numbers. Straight on this guy. Green numbers, green numbers. This means that you are doing more and extra damage to the enemies because of their weakness versus the strength of your gun. This is intrinsic to most enemies and pretty much every Colossus in the game. So if you want to do more damage against Colossus, you need to be thinking about this mechanic. And that mechanic is basically a rock, paper, scissors mechanic. So if we just go into any weapon, we go to the details of it, you can see that over here we have a crush damage type. Indicates the crush damage type. Damage increases when attacking with a damage type superior to the opponent's damage type. Attacking with a damage type inferior to the opponent's damage type does not increase damage. So as it says here, pierce beats crush, crush beats burst, and burst beats pierce. And I think the one thing that confuses people about this mechanic is that it reads like rock, paper, scissors. One beats another, another beats another, another beats the original. So when you look at enemies and you scan them, it tells you that they are crush or that their weakness is crush. So in my mind, when I read that burst is better than pierce, pierce is better than crush, that means I need to use a pierce weapon because they are crush. Well, actually, that's just telling you what weapon you should use, a crush weapon. And that's where it gets confusing. So my rocket launcher is pierce, and obviously it doesn't do any green damage whatsoever. You can have a look at it over here. You can see that it's pierce. So whenever you scan an enemy, it just tells you what gun you should be using. So if I go back to my tamer over here, you can see that crush will give me a 10% increase in damage because it is the type of their weakness. So I go back to my tamer, I start shooting, and you're going to see green damage popping up. So I think it's like the normal base attack will do more damage. That's why it's green instead of white. The yellow and orange critical and all that are still exactly the same. I don't know whether actual 10% damage is implemented in it. I assume that it is, but it'd be very confusing to have so many different colored things popping up on your screen. So essentially you're just doing 10% more damage to those enemies because you are using the weapon of their weakness, and when you scan them you can see their weakness. So all you need to do really, if you want to do damage to enemies out in the wild, is remember these icons: the crush, the burst, and the pierce. But this comes more into play with Colossus because Colossus, big health, big defenses, more difficult to kill, but they have weaknesses. So let's go and have a look at it. So I'm level 100 now on hard mode, but we're just going to go into the last boss that I can pretty much have a chance against without mechanics, because Hangman is just based on mechanics, the Swamp Walker. So I threw on a toxic antibody, but if we go in and look at his details, it tells me that his weak point type is burst. So that doesn't mean that I need to use a crush weapon. I need to use a burst weapon. So pulling out my hand cannon, which is the Nezastra's devotion. I hate saying that word. If we look at it, it's a burst damage type. So when I shoot the boss with this hand cannon, it will do more damage because its weakness is burst. So let's go and have a look. Now when we talk about fighting Colossus, of course, something like the Tamer, a fast-firing LMG that you can build up to be one of the, probably the strongest gun in the game, hand cannons are going to fall a little bit behind that, especially one that's not fully upgraded with extra capacity and extra modules. But you can see roughly how, you know, good they can be when hitting people in the weak spot. So you can see now I'm doing basic. My basic damage is already higher, and especially with this gun, it marks it and gives them a weakness. So, you know, this can actually do a lot of damage, which will change the whole fight. Like, I'm just doing this on private now. Like, if I was in a team with other people, we'd just absolutely melt this enemy. But you can see that the weak point damage that I'm doing with this is just phenomenal. Like, I have never, even when I went back to do this as a level 100, I never ever did this much damage this quickly to this boss. I wasn't ever set up correctly, but now that I am set up correctly and I have a weapon like this that's hitting its weak points, I'm doing way more damage. But obviously if you're using like the Tamer, it's still going to absolutely just rip him apart. But then think about if you're not using the Tamer in a fight where the weakness is the same as the Tamer, you're missing out on so much damage. So yeah, that's just like the basics of the game. It's a nice little rock, paper, scissors mechanic, but Not the be all and end all, but it will help you out in a lot of situations, especially like in the wild open with bosses, because Colossus are going to be very different because you have to play them very differently. But let's say there's an elite out in the world with the ball mechanics and they've got a lot of health. If you know what their weakness is, you can do a lot of damage to them. You can correct your mistakes, let's put it that way. So let's say you go into a boss and you're struggling for damage and you can't finish him off and he kills you, etc., which can happen in this game. I know a lot of people are going to be like, oh, you just have to get good, but it can happen in this game. It's happened to me multiple times. Oh god, I nearly swung off the edge then. And you know, you've died a couple of times, you think, what can I do differently? Well, what you can do differently is scan them, find out their weakness, and use a gun that will better do more damage on them. I hate this mechanic, but this boss is probably one of the easiest bosses in the entire Colossi. Oh god, probably shouldn't stand in the lava. Ow. Out of all the Colossus, this is probably one of the easiest ones, especially on normal anyway. I don't know what it's like on hard. I can imagine it's probably a little bit more difficult on hard. I don't even know how I'm surviving this. I really don't. Whee! I haven't used a single mechanic yet, ability yet. Right. Okay. I actually do need some health, so give me some health, guys. Give me some health. Woohoo! Do I have any more ammo yet? I do. Let's use some more ammo. Ow! Weak point targeting and weak point damage on this with this gun. Already marking enemies to do more damage on weak points. Absolutely phenomenal. Can I get up there? Yeah, I can. I've never understood this mechanic either. I know you're supposed to hold on, but I just think it's easier just to literally hit him multiple times and don't even worry about... Oh god, they're all around me. Don't even worry about trying to steady yourself. Just literally just punch the hell out of him. Come here, guys. Everybody die. Give me some ammo, health, and stuff. Right, now let's go this side and do this one. Whee! Hasn't he got like a thing underneath him? Or am I thinking of the Devourer? No, I'm thinking of the Devourer, aren't I? Obviously, I'm not doing too much damage here. I'm just kind of trying to show the mechanic off of the thing. But let's see how quick we can kill him with the tamer. Pow, 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 pow. Get out of the way, guy. Get out of the way. Let's put some water underneath him. See what my water does against him. It's actually quite a bit of damage, to be fair. I'm just going to tank all this because why not? I can't see what's happening, but let's get some damage on him. Pow, 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 pow. I think what I'm going to do eventually is when I've kind of sorted everything out that I want from my character, I'm just going to go and play these on normal and just help people. Because I can't, like, I remember how frustrated I was when people didn't know what they were doing. So I want to be the person to help people who don't know what they're doing. God, toxic antibody really helps on this fight when you're a higher level. Ooh, I'll take this health. But I'm not even like... No, I could have killed this boss already by now, I think, if I just used my tamer. So as you can see, the mechanic to get extra damage isn't necessary for Colossi, but it does help a lot. So it's something to consider, something to look into. Look at your weapon types, damage types, what your favorite weapon damage type is, you know, like... Just make sure that you are getting the benefits from all the guns possible. Woohoo! Come here. I don't even know if I've got any materials for this boss. I can't see a goddamn thing. There we are. I got 4 ultimates. Nice. Oh, 8 and 1. Let's have a look at this 8. Ultimate VSA. Let's go. I'll get ultimate VSA right now. Oh, I got restored relic blueprint. Boo! But that's it, that's the video. I hope it helped. I hope you understand the mechanics a little bit better now. It's not something you have to really worry about too much, but in open world play, I think it could come in very useful for certain bosses and certain enemies and stuff that you might be having a little trouble with. Colossi, not so much, but specifically like if you're aiming for weak points and stuff, if you're getting that extra damage, you know, why not use it? I'll take that as well. Thank you for watching. I have been easynow. You guys have been awesome.